Okay, hello everybody. Hello, and welcome. How are you doing? I am DSP, and welcome to today's gameplay stream. Today is December 26, 2016, which sadly means, ladies and gentlemen, that Christmas is officially over. Can you believe it? Can you believe that Christmas is over? I'm very, very depressed. I am down in the dumps because all year we wait for Christmas, this big anticipation, this big climactic moment, and then once it's over, it's like we got another year to wait. But it's cool. Listen, we're still in the holiday season. We still got a week here, and then we got New Year's, right? And so, new week, new year, new playthrough. Last night, I actually left it in the hands of the viewers. I did an overnight poll on Twitter to determine what I would be playing today, and the choices were the following. First of all, to officially finish my playthrough of Final Fantasy 15 by finishing up the final two big hunts in that game, and maybe doing any other odds and ends that were left. That was number one. Number two, to continue with Pokemon Moon, a playthrough that I've been doing now for over a month, and is going to be an ongoing playthrough that I do on and off. Number three, Final Fantasy IV, which is going to be a playthrough I'm eventually doing, but I wanted to put it to a poll rather than just pick. And then number four, The Legend of Zelda Ocarina of Time. 3D, by the way, 3D. This is the 3DS version of the game. I do want to make that very abundantly clear as we start here. This is the 3DS version, so I'm sure there's going to be graphical differences, gameplay tweaks, and the like from the original game on the original Nintendo 64. Okay? Now, first off, as you can hear, yep, I'm still under the weather, doing what I can, excuse me, to try to get back here, but I'm not going to stop working. I have to keep working, and I want to keep playing games for you. So you're just going to have to put up with the nastiness. Sorry, again, another couple weeks, hopefully it'll be completely out of my system, but for now, it is what it is, okay? For now, my voice is all right, but I can already tell you that over the course of the stream, my voice will probably get increasingly hoarse. However, I do have multiple drinks. I have cough drops here, whatever I need. The good news is, unlike the last 2 days, in WWE Sims that I did, I had to constantly be talking. Yesterday, I did a special Christmas and chill show, so I had to constantly be talking. Today, it's just commentary over gameplay, so that's good. I don't have to constantly be talking. That's a good thing. So, hopefully my voice holds out. We'll see what happens here today, okay? Now, you may say, why am I doing Ocarina of Time? Why was Ocarina of Time even a possibility for a game this week? Well, it's because over the past several years, I've played a lot of the more modernized... Oh, excuse me. Excuse me. Woo! Let's try that again. Over the past few years, I've played many of the modernized Zelda games, including The Wind Waker, Twilight Princess, and Majora's Mask. Okay, I've played all these. And then, of course, before all those, I played Skyward Sword. Now, here's the thing. All of these games apparently tie into the main plotline of the Zelda universe, which is the Three Timelines plotline. Which, from what I'm to understand, it all originates from Ocarina of Time. This is the game that is like the core of the Zelda universe. Skyward Sword was the prequel. This game was the game that created the Three Timelines theory, okay? And then based off of the Three Timelines theory, you've got the three universes. The cartoon universe, the kind of top-down universe, and then the modernized 3D universe, where all these games kind of tie into each other, okay? So that being said, this is the game I've never played. I did own this on the Nintendo 3DS. Nintendo 3DS. Ugh. I did own this on the Nintendo 64 back in the 1990s, okay? And it was funny because the Nintendo 64, I didn't own too many games. I rented a lot, but I didn't own a lot. I owned Mario, I owned Star Fox, I owned Doom. I owned Zelda. And I probably owned maybe like 3 to 4 more games. And that was it. That was the era when everything was rentals. You go and rent all your games. So I rented a lot of stuff when I had the N64. Oh, I take it back. I also had Killer Instinct Gold. I remember I owned KI Gold. But outside of that, it was rental. And I played Ocarina of Time, and I hated it. I really did. Now, here's why I hated Ocarina of Time. Because before that, I had played the original Zelda on NES, and then I had played Link to the Past. Now, Link to the Past was one of my favorite games of that era, the SNES era. I loved Link to the Past. And when I saw that they took the Zelda franchise from a top-down 2D perspective into this 3D world, where now it's going to be open world roaming. And I'll be honest, I was one of the few people of that era who did not like the modernized graphics, okay? I really didn't. I thought, because they weren't modern to me. To me, those graphics were primitive. You know, games like Final Fantasy VII, the original Resident Evil, Ocarina of Time, in my opinion, you know, and this was back then, you know, those games didn't look good. They were all blocky, right? There wasn't a lot of detail, and it was like we were sacrificing the quality of the detail for polygons. And I was one of the people that didn't necessarily like that. I was like, okay, do polygons, but if you're going to advance to the polygons, also have shading, have lighting, have everything that you already have in the 2D games, which there is now sacrificed, in order to have these kind of low-resolution polygons, okay? So I really didn't like the transition to 3D. Now, I know for a fact, obviously, in today, the modern era, that was an ignorant attitude to have. You know, that generation of early PS1, Nintendo 64 games, those early 3D games, was needed in order to eventually jump to the later on games that looked really sweet, okay? But you know, it is what it is. I didn't like Zelda Ocarina of Time. I remember playing it for about 4 to 5 hours. And after that, I was just like, I just don't like this game. I wanted it to be more like a classic top-down Zelda game, and it just wasn't my cup of tea, okay? So, that being said, this is one of the few, well, I don't want to say one of the few, but this is the pivotal Zelda game, right? The one out of which all the Zelda plot lines has come from, and I never actually officially did a playthrough of it ever. So, I'll be honest here, this is going to be new to me. There's no way I'm going to remember. I remember so little of playing it the original time that there's no way that I'm going to remember that stuff. This is going to be like a cold playthrough for me. Now, for a lot of you, this is going to be like I'm playing a classic game of yours, a game that's near and dear to your heart, a game that was the beginning of the Zelda franchise for the modern gaming audience, right? So I hope that you enjoy it, but understand that I'm probably not going to be good at it, you know. I mean, I have played all the modernized Zelda games, but I'm not going to know anything. I'm not going to know any tricks. I'm not going to, you know, it's going to be cold for me. A cold run. So we'll see how this goes. Now, from what I'm going to understand, the 3DS version had many improvements. Graphical improvements for sure. Okay. But also, not only graphical improvements, but gameplay improvements. They apparently tweaked the game. They made certain things better. I guess there were some gripes that people had with the original Ocarina of Time that they actually fixed for this version. Okay. That being said, this version is 5 years old. This was one of the earlier titles for the Nintendo 3DS. It was one of the titles they were trying to launch the system with 5 years ago or whatever. So understand that it's maybe dated per our modern criteria, but it still is one of the more modernized Zelda games, okay? Okay, so that's the deal. That's why I'm doing it now. The other thing is, January is incredibly slow. For those who are following along gameplay releases and everything, there's almost nothing going on in January. But despite a few little sparse releases here and there, the only real major game release in all of January 2017 is Resident Evil 7 at the end of the month. So I said, hey, if I'm going to actually be, catching up with the Zelda franchise and playing Ocarina of Time, I should do it now. Do it now while I have the time before I start playing it when other stuff starts coming out, and then I get caught up in other releases, I never get back to it. Because sadly, typically that's what happens is, you know, I start doing something, right? And I'll start playing a playthrough like this, and then it becomes the downtime game, which then means I only play it every few days, if that, and then I end up getting caught up and not playing it, okay? So I want to start playing it now, so that way, if I do get caught up with other stuff or whatever, I have all of January until Resident Evil 7 to finish the game. So that's a good thing, okay? Now, that being said, I want everyone to understand the schedule is going to be really weird for the next couple of weeks, because I'm going to be balancing regular gameplay streams like today with the Patrons Multiplayer event. In fact, last night, a bunch of patrons posted up on my forums, and what I'm going to do tonight is finalize the schedule for this week so that people basically know who's playing when. But tomorrow's gameplay stream is going to be half Battlefield 1 and half Overwatch, and I'm going to be playing in sessions with patrons, okay? So if you want to see some variety this week, you're not just about ongoing playthroughs, but maybe you want to see some fun, kind of casualized online multiplayer with patrons, that's going to be going on every other day. So today we got Zelda. Tomorrow we've got patron multiplayer. Wednesday we'll go back to gameplay, and it could be Final Fantasy, it could be Zelda, it could be Pokemon, I'm not sure. I'll tell you this, I am ruling out Final Fantasy IV. I'm not going to start playing that on Wednesday, but it's going to be one of the other three, okay? Again, Thursday, back to multiplayer with the patrons. Then Friday will be a gameplay stream like this, and then Saturday will be patron multiplayer. And then Sunday and Monday will end up being, kind of regular gameplay streams again. All right, so it's going to be alternating back and forth, okay? So understand that, and understand if you are a big fan of Ocarina of Time and you want to keep following the playthrough, it is going to continue, but this week in particular is a weird week because of the patron multiplayer event, so you may not necessarily see new Zelda gameplay every single day, okay? Now, number 2, I already see people talking about this in the stream chat, so I'm going to make this abundantly clear. I've never played Ocarina of Time. Never. I only played it for a few hours that first time in the 90s. There's no way I'm going to remember that stuff while I'm playing the game this time, okay? Please allow me to try to solve stuff on my own, okay? What I would prefer is this. I'm playing through it cold turkey, trying to succeed, trying to learn, just like all games. It's the first time I'm ever playing it, so please allow me to do my best. Now, if I get stuck on some kind of an incredibly cryptic puzzle, all right, or some kind of incredibly annoying part of the game that everyone infamously knows is really annoying, something like that, then please feel free to contribute and say, all right, Phil's been stuck on this for 10-15 minutes, he's not progressing, he's not figuring it out, then I'll take some advice. But don't, please, during this playthrough, don't spam the stream chat with, you gotta do this, he should have done this secret here, that just ruins it, you know what I mean? And please, do not spoil the game, all right? I want to try to make the honest effort to solve everything myself, all right, before people just start spouting out solutions to these complex puzzles and stuff. Now, if you've ever seen me play a Zelda game, okay, I've done pretty well, right? Overall, if you watch my Zelda playthroughs, outside of somewhere they're incredibly, like, for example, let me give you a perfect example here. Earlier this year, I played Twilight Princess HD, right? In regards to that game, I probably solved about 90% of it myself. Now, in my efforts to go around that game and do some of the more completionist style stuff, then the stream chat kind of helped me and said, Phil, you should do this and this because this is stuff you missed out on or whatever, okay? That's what I'm talking about. Now, I'll give you another game that's another perfect frame of reference, okay? Majora's Mask. The Legend of Zelda Majora's Mask is one of those Zelda games that is incredibly hard to figure out a lot of the stuff in it because you basically need to be at the right place, at the right time, within certain circumstances, wearing a certain mask or whatever. There's a lot of cryptic stuff in that game that if people didn't help me with it, I never would have figured it out unless I just looked it up for myself. So that's a situation, okay? That's a situation where If there's a way I'm never going to figure anything out, then please. You know what I mean? Then please help me. But that's the situation we have here. Let me take an honest shot at it by myself. If I'm completely stumped or if there's a really tough part of the game, then let's see, you know, we can get some assist. All right? Now, in regards... Wow, people in the stream chat are saying the Assassin's Creed movie bombed. Did it really? I wouldn't be surprised. It made $16.7 million on a $200 million budget. Excellent. Well, so much for that franchise. Anyway. Speaking of Majora's Mask. Good news. As you guys and gals know, this year YouTube made a lot of improvements and changes. One of the things they did is they did away with the stupid, insane bullshit false copyright strike system, where people can just fucking false flag anything and no one ever reviews it, alright? In fact, YouTube got so much flack in the last year for this shitty system that they changed their whole system. So now if you get a copyright strikes against you, a human actually fucking reviews it. I can't believe it. What a novel concept, right? So anyway, the good news is that because of that, I'm not afraid of fan art. I'm not afraid of these kind of issues that last year my entire channel got destroyed with false copyright strikes because of. And because of that, I'm bringing back all of the playthroughs that I had to make private last year. So, I should have just said this in a short version. Majora's Mask is now public again, okay? So, if you haven't seen it, if you didn't know the tweet, because I tweeted this a couple minutes ago, actually, about 30 minutes ago. Yeah. The Legend of Zelda Majora's Mask 3DS playthrough that I did last year is now public and live on YouTube. So, if you're watching Ocarina of Time today, and you're like, ah, cool, you know, this is awesome. I'm glad that Phil is playing this. But you know that I'm not going to be playing this every day. You could go watch the entirety of my Majora's Mask playthrough, which is now live. Okay? So there you have it. There's a little post-Christmas present to you. And someone says, can we finally see Phoenix Wright again? Yeah, I made that public 2 weeks ago. Professor Layton versus Phoenix Wright is public. It's been public for 2 weeks. So go check that out too if you want. So recently I've done three playthroughs. I made Pokemon Omega Ruby, Professor Layton versus Phoenix Wright, and now Majora's Mask. They're all public, and you can check them out and watch them on DSPGaming. Okay? Okay. Let's see. Outside of everything I've already talked about on pre-stream, I don't really have much else to talk about. And quite honestly, I want to stop talking because I don't want to make my voice incredibly hoarse here before I begin with the new playthrough. I'm just trying to think if there's anything else. You know, like I said, you know tomorrow is the patron event and all of that. Oh, yeah. One final thing. And then I'll quickly run through the plugs. I believe it's going to probably be Wednesday night. I'm going to finally create and open the polls on the kingofhate.com forums for the funniest moments of the year voting. And I'm going to need you guys to head over there and vote, okay? Because it's fan-voted funniest moments is the name of my year-end series. I need people to start voting. Now, typically, by now I would have already had the polls open, but I was wrapped up in so many games, and I was sick, and all this stuff was going on that I didn't really have the opportunity to do it. It's going to be the middle of this week, okay? The middle of this week when I'm going to open that poll. And I would say this is your last chance. If you've been watching all my playthroughs recently, right, to nominate things for the funniest moments of the year. The thread is up. The thread's been in the kingofhate.com forums all year. It's in the general section. This is your last chance to nominate funny moments, okay? You must nominate them quickly. Because by Wednesday night, I'm going to be making this poll, and therefore, all the nominations, I'm going to consider them and put them into these polls for voting. Okay. There you have it. Alright, so very quickly, let me run through some quick plugs, and let's begin, okay? So first off, thank you everyone for being here. Thank you for being patient. I know we're starting a little late here, but it is what it is. Thanks for a great year. Happy holidays to everyone. By the way, this past weekend was incredibly good. So many people showed up for both my WWE Fantasy Sims as well as my Christmas and Chill stream these past couple of days, and they were incredibly profitable for me. So it was like, everyone enjoyed it. I made money. It all worked out, right? It was good for everyone. Awesome. So hopefully, people will continue to show up, continue to enjoy the streams, continue to participate by subbing and cheering, and it's going to work out for everyone, okay? There are many ways outside of just subbing and cheering that you can help me as well. First of all, Loot Crate. I just received my first ever WWE Slam Crate. And I'm going to be unboxing that either today or tomorrow. I have to see how much time I have later today. If I have time tonight, I'll unbox it. If not, it'll be tomorrow, okay? And I'm going to unbox it. And that unboxing will be uploaded to my vlogging channel on the King of Hate Vlogs. So that's going to be awesome. The first time ever checking out the WWE Slam Crate. I have a referral code, which is lootcrate.com/darksidephil, and a discount code, SaveMe10DSP. If you use that referral code and discount code to buy any new Loot Crate subscription, you'll save 10%, and I get some referral credit, okay? Loot Crate actually has really enjoyed the fact that so many people have used my code this year, okay? Especially now it's post-Christmas. You may have a little bit of extra money. You're looking for something neat to get for yourself. Now would be the time. A cool time to sign up for this service. So check it out when you get the chance. Twitter, @TheyCallMeDSP. Please follow me there. Every night I post up a schedule so you'll know exactly what's going on the next day. This week in particular is going to be very important for you to follow me there because I'm going to be alternating between patron multiplayer and different gameplays. So you're going to want to follow me there to know what's going on. But also, I share all kinds of stuff, pictures, and when playthroughs go live and stuff like that. I make all kinds of announcements on there. Definitely follow me on Twitter, @TheyCallMeDSP. KO Gaming. This is a big time for you to start checking out KO Gaming, because just in the past week, I have released reviews of both The Last Guardian and Dead Rising 4. Within the next couple of days, I'm going to be releasing my big review of Final Fantasy 15, and then immediately following that, I'm beginning work on my year-end series, The Top 10 Most Disappointing Games of 2016, which ends up being pretty successful. People really like that series, okay? So, if you want to see all my year-end stuff this year, you gotta go to KO Gaming. That's youtube.com/KO Gaming 1, and please subscribe. I'm not gonna flood you with a ton of videos that's gonna destroy your YouTube inboxes or anything like that. I certainly hope that you'll check it out, okay? Patreon, very important. Patreon.com/DarksidePhil. This is the way that you can go above and beyond to support me and allow me to continue to do this as a full-time job. Patreon support really, honestly, is the only reason I'm still here. If I hadn't adopted Patreon last year, I would not still be doing this as a job. I would have had to quit and go out and probably get 2 different jobs to make as much money. That's right, I probably would have to work 40 to 80 hours a week to make as much money as I'm trying to, as I do here on YouTube. So thank you to those who have been supporting me with Patreon. I appreciate that, okay? In particular, there's 6 days left there's 5 days left in the month. So there's 5 days left for you to pledge to my Patreon. If you do pledge, first of all, obviously you get personal perks. I'm not going to go through those because those are already fully listed there on the website. But the big goal this month is a huge marathon Twitch and Chill stream that will take place in late January. I'll be playing games, and you'll be able to nominate those games if you pledge $5 or more. But the bottom line is the focus of that stream will not be the gameplay. It'll actually be more about me interacting with you. A cool interactive stream where we go back and forth and we talk about stuff and we're having fun rather than me primarily focusing on the gameplay. It's not going to be about making a playthrough for YouTube per se, okay? So, hopefully we hit the goal, hopefully things go well, and hopefully I can do that in late January, but you have to pledge. And I just want to say this, I know what's going to happen in the next few days. Some people are going to reduce their pledges because they realized, oh, I did a bigger pledge in November, maybe to get in on that multiplayer event or whatever, and I needed to lower my pledge. That always happens traditionally, okay? But you could pledge in the next 5 days to negate that effect, okay? I want to hit the goal. I would love to do this event, but we got to hit the goal, okay? In addition, right now, this is no exaggeration, in the next 5 days, I need to pay my taxes, my year-end taxes, which means, no lie, thousands of dollars that I don't have, I have to give the federal government. Because all my money goes to pay my bills. So, I guess I'm going to have to charge my taxes. Isn't that nice? Charge the fucking taxes because I have no ability to save any money because all my money goes to pay my bills. Isn't that delightful? The federal government taking my money that I don't have. Very nice. Thanks, federal government. So anyway, yeah. That's money that it's going to put me in more debt. It's going to put me in a worse position. So please consider pledging. It helps me out. Okay. Last but not least, my girlfriend Leanna has her own business called The Black Currant, by which she sells handmade glycerin soaps and wax tart melts. Okay. Very successful. She's done very well for herself this year. This year she actually exceeded her sales from last year. And people really like her product. If you don't believe me, because you're like, oh, you're her boyfriend, whatever, you're going to say it's good no matter what. Check out the website for yourself. She's got tons of positive customer feedback from people who've ordered and love her product. Check it out. And it's it's a thing to keep in mind. Obviously now the gift giving season is pretty much over. But hey, maybe you want to get something nice for yourself, or maybe a belated Christmas present. Handmade glycerin soaps, wax tart melts, great stuff, okay? All right, folks. Thank you very much. Thank you very much for being here. It now is time for me to begin with the Ocarina of Time playthrough. Whew, I hope it's good and I hope I don't suck. I hope it's good and I hope I don't suck. I guess that's all I really have to say. Let's see how this goes, okay? All right, that is it, everyone. Thank you. And let us begin Ocarina of Time. Here we go.